Hey everybody. Gosh, I love this playlist. Today should be pretty fun. So this is a cool stream. This is going to be the first of 22 streams, potentially. I think there's 22 weeks left in the year. And, you know, I haven't done any really particularly cool LEGO projects in a little while. I've been, you know, building stuff that was basically pre-made, stuff from LEGO. Getting over a little tickle in my throat here. But, you know, it's hard to get to those big projects when you've got stuff, you know, laying around unfinished, so to speak. Oh, you know what I'm missing? I don't have my little... Oh, it's right over there. I'll just use the box instead. Good plan. Good plan, Kira. 22 weeks left. My backlog is huge. I'm tired of having a huge backlog everywhere. You know, not even to mention the problem of when I complete stuff and I need to order pieces, but that's a separate problem. So the way I looked at it, I said, hey, you know what? Let's lay everything out. Let's put numbers on them for accountability. 22 weeks, 22 projects, maybe a little bit more than 22. And let's just see how far we can get, you know? So this is week 1 of 22. So which set I'm going to choose each week is entirely vibe space. I just kind of looked at the giant stack of unbuilt sets and said, you know, I think I could do such one or such other one. Today I was looking at the stack. Technically, I've only got 2 hours, but what was really jumping out at me is this LEGO Viking Village set. And I think the reason it's jumping out at me is actually really simple. It's because, where's bag 13? It's because the parts, this is, I talk a lot about no extra parts sets versus extra parts sets. This is technically an extra parts set, but literally the only extra parts that I should have to build would be water tiles, 1x2 water tiles. And that's actually really convenient because I already need to order some 1x2 water tiles for one of the other extra part sets that's in my backlog, which is the Eldorado Fortress. So hypothetically, that's something I already need to be doing Monday, which is my parts ordering day, which I'm very behind on. So, although this is technically an extra part set, it's generally, let's get right into it. Let's go POV working. Where is that camera? Here it is. Although this is technically an extra part set, it's doesn't really feel like one. It really feels like a pretty straightforward build because it doesn't feel like I'm really adding anything to my extra parts burden by doing it. So I wanted to make sure I did something, so here we are. Make sure everything's working as planned. Meet the Vikings. The men and women of the Viking Age may have a reputation for being merciless plunderers, and pillagers, but Viking culture is much more diverse. They were curious explorers, resourceful sailors and tradespeople, creative cooks, carpenters, weavers, jewelers, farmers, fishermen, storytellers, and much more. The word Viking was mainly used to refer to expeditions. And though no sign of horned helmets have emerged from architectural digs, who knows if Vikings experimented with different fashion styles to show off status, clan colors, or simply just for fun. Viking Age men and women tended to enjoy equal rights in many respects, from participating in overseas voyages and tending to the home and different occupations, to loyal council representations, marital rights, and property ownership. Viking communities were typically ruled by jarls, which are wealthy, authoritative figures, with carls representing the working class and thralls or slaves. Though laws were not specifically written down, communities would pass on their customs and culture verbally and through rituals and practices. They assembled regularly to vote on important issues, settle disputes, and catch up on the news of the land. Words, both spoken and in rune symbols in particular, were believed to have a powerful effect, good or bad, on everything in the physical world. The word rune, from the Old Norse run or runa, means a whisper, a secret, or advice. And unkind or damning words toward the gods or your fellow humans were believed to carry devastating consequences. Vikings were creative problem solvers. They styled their hair. They had lots of careers and skills. blacksmiths, glass bead makers. In return or as part of their plunder, Vikings would bring back precious metal jewelry or clothes. Viking longships were built as warships and must have been a terrifying sight as they approached new shores. But trade ships were just as commonly seen in the Nordic region, and while not quite as fast as the longships, some of the largest trade ships could hold up to 60 tons of cargo. Evidence of Viking trade has been found in regions as far away as the eastern shores of the US, Eastern Europe, and Russia. A few infamous Vikings even carved graffiti ruins in prominent places on their expeditions to Turkey and Greece. Closer to home, they enjoyed skiing, both as a means to go around, go hunting, and just for fun. And we have a fan designer, Florian, named Brickhammer, who's a German native, and submitted the original version of this set in 2020, and then in 2022. And they say, even though this set does not aspire to depict a realistic Viking village, for example, I included the fictive horns on the helmets, the inspiration for the project was a combination of my interest in Viking history and nostalgic for the classic 1990s LEGO Viking sets. We did build the Midgard Serpent remake on this channel a while ago, I think. Or maybe I built it solo. I don't remember. And then there were some LEGO designers who took Florian's job and turned it into this LEGO Ideas set. Isaac Snyder and Johanna Worm Jensen. Here we go. There are 15 bags and 2,100 pieces. Here's our first Viking is a Viking lady who appears to be a painter and a smith of some kind. And this hammer piece, let's see, this hammer piece, which we can see on the social camera there, actually has some runes inscribed into it. So it's a bit of a new design here, which is super neat. Let's put you back where we can see you. What was I going to say about that? I don't know. I already forgot. Vikings, LEGO Ideas. We were reading about the Vikings and their helmets and things that we built on the channel. Oh, so the time to completion. So this set is 2,100 pieces. We would normally expect that to take me just under 3 hours. Now, technically today, I've only got 2 hours to work, given that I'm starting at 3 o'clock Eastern time. It's humid and rainy outside. Absolutely my favorite kind of day. Kind of day where I don't want to stream at all. I just want to sit and listen to the rain and, you know, enjoy the company of the cat. But like I said, that backlog isn't going to tackle itself. It makes my place look like kind of a disaster in the meantime. So I figured, you know, let's keep it moving. I didn't see any conveniently accessible sets that were 2-hour builds, and this was just kind of looking at me funny, you know? Sometimes a LEGO set is just kind of looking at you funny, and you go, you know, LEGO piece? By the way, right here we have an example of let's flip over to the POV. Here's a 1x2 Translite Blue tile. These are exactly the tiles that we're going to order like 1,000 more of to complete this set once the time comes. So like I said, always nice when there's already some in the box. Not that that's going to do us a whole lot of good. So yeah, I don't know exactly how we're going to handle that. What I might do is maybe when we hit the 2-hour mark, I'll just take an extremely... We're already at 14 minutes. We're getting started a little late here. But I don't know. Like I said, this set was just kind of looking at me funny. And I think that the accomplishment I'm going to feel having the set done, you can see I'm well caffeinated, by the way, is going to exceed any sense of whatever else I need to do today. Which is not that much anyway. Just going to watch some TV and all that. So we're going to prioritize knocking this out. And when we get later into the set, there is also going to be a surprise. So this is actually not a straightforward build. There is a slight modification we're going to make. Is it technically a modification? I think it technically counts as a modification. It's a light modification. But this is nice. And actually, this is a set that I think is going to look really beautiful. LEGO Ideas sets often do. And one that I think I'm really going to be pretty excited to even have on display in my place, even while I just wait for the extra parts to come in. So yeah, tackling that backlog, y'all. Just tackling that backlog. Gotta tackle. Gotta tackle and bait over here. But yeah, when I was so what I did in terms of tackling that backlog, kind of the way I went about it. Also, am I going to be mega sweaty here? Oh man, it's warm, it's humid. I was kind of running the chiller in here for a while before we got started. Normally, when we do like our 5-hour builds, and I know that I'm going to be just absolutely dying of warmth, what I'll typically do is run that, you know, every hour or every 40 minutes or so on, take a break and just kind of blast it for a little bit. I don't know that we're going to do that today, so we might just be a sweaty mess. It's okay. You guys don't mind. I hope. So yeah, so what I did was I knew that we had 22 weeks left. And I've got I've got basically, to oversimplify this a little bit, I've basically got a Lego closet where there's, some number of sets built. And those are extra part sets. They're all sets that when I build them, I'm going to need to do more things to do. But I've far exceeded, like I said, the backlog is way too big. So I've far exceeded just the space that is available in my Lego closet, which is why I was like, this is out of hand. We gotta make sure we stay vigilant. So I just I printed out a bunch of I took a bunch of sticky notes, wrote 1 to 22 on them, 22 weeks left in the year. And then I came over to the literal just stack of unbuilt sets that's just laying in my house, making me look like a crazy person rather than a hobby fan. And I just started slapping stickers on them. I kind of went, all right. I started with number 22, and I picked sets that would take a lot of work, and I worked my way down until there was no sticky notes left, down from 22 all the way to 1. And that's kind of how I labeled them. And that was about correct. It was, I would say, not much more than 22 sets that are in my overflow, so to speak, that I felt like really needed to be dealt with this year. Not much more. A little bit more, but not too much more. Now, of course, there's a couple problems with that you might be thinking about. Problem number one is that I'm still going to continue buying Lego this year. Now, a lot of the Lego that I buy this year will be really, really simple sets, little cars and battle packs and things that I just knock out on like Friday nights. I don't stream. It's just boring. It's simple stuff. But some of the sets that I buy will be complex and they will require building properly, whether that's on stream or otherwise. So the way I got around that was I labeled everything. I labeled everything in the overflow except for 100-piece sets. So hypothetically, and I actually saw this today, there's a couple sets over there that are literally only 900 pieces. That's barely more than an hour of work. I can do more than one of those in a weekend, or more than one of those on a Sunday stream. So I think that those things will balance out. And if I'm really vigilant about any new Lego coming in, so for example, I just acquired Spider-Man versus Oscorp, which I'm getting because actually I have a really, really fun plan for that set, which I'm not going to spoil because we'll probably do it on stream pretty soon. I thought about doing it today, but I would have had to go downstairs a bunch of flights to pick up the package, and I was feeling like I didn't want to do that, even though that would have actually been really smart, but oh well. So that's an example of that set. It's only 1,100 pieces or something, less than 2 hours of work. And there's already one set over in my backlog that has a sticky note on it that I know that I am going to combine with that Spider-Man and Oscorp build. I had this idea fresh today, and I was feeling very smart about it. So, basically, the point is the amount of Lego in and the amount of Lego out should be net negative. which will ensure that this backlog actually does disappear by the end of the year, and I can start feeling like a sane person again, which is something very exciting to me. So I tried to account for that when I was, setting up this plan. And I said that I labeled everything pretty specifically, 22 down to 1. But like I'm not really worried about being like super duper neurotic about it. So like today I went and looked at set number 1 and I was like, no, I'm absolutely not building that today. Actually set number 1 is it would have been fun, but I just didn't, so it's entirely vibe space. So like what I'm grabbing on any particular Sunday, kind of like a couple of Sundays ago when I last had the chance to stream Lego before I headed out on some vacation. And I grabbed what did I grab? I grabbed the Celestial Pagoda from the Monkey Kid theme because I knew that it was an amount of pieces that would actually allow me to get it done. Because the worst thing you can do is, have sets that you start streaming but don't finish, and then they're just laying around. That's the worst. It's actually the worst thing you can do. You can quote me on that. Yo, what's happening? Welcome aboard. Hey, we're building Vikings today, and I was just talking about my plan for tackling a pretty big backlog. It's super hot, super humid, but I'm kind of vibing. I'm probably gonna be like super sweaty, but whatever. We're just over here building some Vikings. So you can see from the timer in the bottom, my rate is usually about 800 pieces an hour, and one bag is about 120 pieces. So it's usually about like 8, 9, 10 minutes a bag, as long as there's no like stickers or craziness or extreme amounts of detail. This is like a medium. This is like a 6 out of 10 complexity set since it's coming out of Lego Ideas, I would say. So I don't expect this to really slow us down too much. I'm definitely a speed builder. So we'll have some fun. Feel free to use the chat. We just hang out here. It's Sunday. We're just enjoying a nice rainy day. So I was talking about the selection. So yeah, I've got the sets. The sets in the backlog are all like technically numbered, but it's vibes based. So today, I was looking and I was like, okay, technically I've got 2 hours, but I don't see anything that's about 1,600 pieces. I saw a couple things that were 900 pieces, but that would have been a waste when I can do those as part of something else. So I just went, you know what? This Viking set is looking at me funny, and it looks cool as heck, and I bet folks will love to see it. So let's just build a Viking thing, and I'll kind of move around my day a little bit. Either I'll take a pause at the 2-hour mark, or I'll just kind of like go back and forth until the set is done, which will kind of be a weird way to, I don't know. We're just going to make it work. It was vibes based, and I just thought this was the set for today, so this is what we're doing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I grabbed this. This wasn't sticky note number 1. This is sticky note number, let me see if I can even see what sticky note it is. Yeah, let's see if you can see that up on this camera up top. Oh no, there's all the plastic bags. Yeah, there it is. So this is sticky note number 14. So we'll get this done. What I'll do is I'll plop this down on the set that was sticky note number 1, and then I'll take sticky note number 1, and I actually don't get to throw it out. What I actually have to do is then take it into my closet of the true backlog, not the overflow backlog that's totally taking up my workspace and making my place look like a crazy person lives there, but rather the, the nicely sorted backlog of additional boxes, which we probably won't be getting to until the beginning of next year. But that's going to be nice, because the point is, that's one sticky note removed from my living space, taken out to out of sight, out of mind. Make me feel accomplished, I think. On top of building a pretty cool set here with these Vikings. So yeah, we'll stick to this top-down view while we're building the base here. Not really any super particularly compelling building techniques or anything here, but that's not really what we're looking for. This is mostly a display set. So that's what's happening. That's how we intend to spend the rest of the Sunday build streams this year. We'll see what starts happening if I miss any of them, but I think I have like I said, I just got back from vacation. I think I got a pretty smooth sailing for the rest of this year, so I think I'll be able to surprise and delight you guys on a week-by-week basis, which, hey, why not, right? Let's have some fun. Already on bag 2 here, but we're a little behind rate because, I started off by reading the super cool lore and culture drop that they gave us for those Vikings, and I thought that was pretty neat. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, it's warm. It's super warm and humid, but we're just going for it. So the other thing that I typically talk about as I get into the build is where is this build going in my greater Lego city? And that's an interesting one. So one of my values with the Lego city is I don't want it's one city, right? There's no like subsections. There's no like, oh, this is Lego World, and then this is Lego Super World. No, like I try to combine it all together. I try to use the storytelling of the Lego sets plus the custom things that I make every now and then to kind of make one cohesive city, peninsula, port, world, whatever. So I don't really like to have like extra worlds, but I'm okay with like extra islands. So what this is going to be is the Vikings are going to live on an island in sort of like off the coast of the world. And islands are super duper useful to me. Super duper useful because by virtue of being an island, it's going to sit on this base plate. It's already one plate off the ground. Well, I did go to Pilates to start the day off, and the instructor was going literally crazy. I was like, what's wrong with you? And she was like, the more you girls hate me, the better I'm doing at my job. And I'm like, okay, sure. Okay. Well, I don't know if I'm feeling the hate, but I'm definitely feeling the sweat. So, and I was then, I was now, but it's just a humid day. But welcome aboard. Yeah, so anyway, islands. Being an island, a little island community off the coast of the city is super useful. This has already raised one base plate off, which is the same amount as my illusion of seafloor for the bay itself. I don't think we've done anything that has shown my my harbor, my bay, my beach in a while, but we'll get to that. There's actually quite a few sets in the backlog that we'll be looking at that. So this is great. It doesn't have to go on the grid. I literally just plop it down in the water, bada bing, bada boom, which is really, really great. All the stuff that we have to adjust to being on the grid is where things start to get kind of tricky or kind of annoying. So this is going to be straightforward. It's just all I'm going to do is I'm literally going to take this blue plate. I'm going to put transparent blue tiles on it. Done. Goes in the bay, set it, and forget it. Which is super neat because that's going to allow this to basically serve as a base of operations for our Viking faction. Trying to think how many other Vikings we have over time. I want to say I have one very small Viking set from the early 2000s Viking line. One, and it's very small. So not a lot from there. But as I mentioned earlier in the stream, I did get the remake of the giant Viking ship versus Midgard Serpent set. So that came with a wonderful giant Viking boat that we can dock in front of this Viking outpost, which I think is going to be super, super appropriate. How does this go? Something like that. And then in terms of other sets, like I said, there's a surprise that's coming a little bit later in the stream here. I'm literally thinking, like, we're making an armory here, by the way. I see that we're taking a bunch of things like helmets, putting them in this armory, which makes sense because we started off by making a sort of blacksmith minifigure, Lady Blacksmith, which is super cool. I had a focus for that one. This is probably the, how do you call it? The hearth, the forge. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, thinking about what else I have. I mean, we could do here. It's always fun to do this, actually. I need to remember that it's actually, when we finish this bag, we'll take a look at, we'll hop over to Brickset and we'll use the tag Viking and see what shows up for my collection. We'll see the Midgard Serpent set, and then maybe we'll see one or two other things. I think that I probably have some collectible minifigure Lego Vikings or something like that. But all in all, it's going to be a pretty humble assembly, and that's okay, because, again, I like the idea of capturing the Viking guys, but I don't need to have 5 million of them. Maybe we'll also poke through what other Viking Lego sets Lego made back in the early 2000s, and if any of them are particularly of interest to all of us, which is a very dangerous thing to do, but it's good. It's good. So happy Sunday. Hope everybody's been having a pretty good weekend. Not too much work, not too much craziness. Over on the video game streaming front for the rest of the week. Oh, look at this. We have a play feature here. Let's switch over to POV. Figure out how this camera is oriented again. There it is. So you can stoke the fire a little bit here, which is actually kind of a neat. It's subtle. I like my play features to be subtle. I don't need them all to be explosions of Lego bricks. So I like that one. This is only bag 2. These are big bags, which is always has a big impact on our completion rate, completion timing. Although again, the set is not actually that many parts. 2,100. Immediately lose my train of thought again. But again, that is because I'm like triple tasking here. So some of the build techniques that we're using here are already reminding me of the El Dorado Fortress, which we built last year and which is still sitting around here off screen. The cobblestone technique, the way that the buildings are coming together. Switch back over here. And then we're going to start tiling back here. That's fair. What else have we got? There's one here. Oh, I remember. I was going to say, so besides the Lego streaming, the video game domain and everything else has been progressing pretty nicely. So we basically completed the main story as it's released right now in Pokopia. Lots of fun there. Thanks to all you guys who've been going back and giving that some extra clicks, either on YouTube in some of your cases, or rewatching some of the highlights on Twitch. A little bit less common because those only last for a week unless I flag them. But that was a super fun series. I was really surprised by the ending, really enjoyed kind of what they did there. I've been chipping away, and part of the reason I'm late today is I've been chipping away at just some of the, chores. I don't know what else to call it. They're called challenges, I guess, but they're chores for all intents and purposes that they give you in each of the zones. Slowly collecting some of the last Pokemon. But it's been really nice, so I better actually pay attention to which parts are being used here. It's been really nice in those streams, just going through that entire game kind of from start to finish. It's been super neat. Okay, we're going all the way over here. Looks like a little bit of snow is falling on the Norse Viking lands. Okay, we got a sword. We've got a pickaxe. We've got a rod. We've got a hammer with, of course, an extra rod and an extra hammer. And then we have a bucket with some water. All the things that a blacksmith needs to perform her job. There we go. So yeah, pretty much caught up on Pocopia. Actually, I learned that there's another piece of the epilogue that unlocks after you do the rest of the epilogue and roll the credits. I don't know anything about it, so I'm probably going to... I was debating whether I would try to do a very, very short Pocopia stream, like maybe after this one. Or if I wait, on Wednesday, August 5th, is when the DLC, the first DLC area for Pocopia comes out. So the story will actually be continuing, probably at a low level, a light level. The first of 3 parts, although the middle part is not story, it's just cosmetics. So we'll actually be back for another week of Pocopia on Wednesday. And then the following Wednesday, there's a couple options. I mean, we can either do a stream where we do Pocopia chores. I can switch to another game. I've had something else queued up. I think I actually get 2 weeks of streams to do Pocopia chores challenges, which will be kind of nice. Just threw that Lego piece. Where did I throw it? That is not one that has an extra. 1 second. Just banged my knee. Yowza. Yeah, so let's take a look at the calendar here. Give our look ahead. August 5th, Wednesday, Pocopia update. August 12th, Pocopia challenges. August 19th, Pocopia challenges. And then August 26th, Wednesday, August 26th, is when we'll actually be moving on from Pocopia to other things. And in this case, I think that I've said on stream, but if I haven't, this can be an announcement. The next sort of weekly game that we'll be plugging away at for a few weeks or a month or plus, depending on how much we enjoy it, will be Star Wars Zero Company, which I think is going to be super fun. It's an XCOM style tactics game, which definitely should be right up my alley. Although, to be honest, I'm not sure I've ever actually played a game in that genre, unless there's one game I'm thinking of that I actually bounced right off of. But you know, I don't know that I really created enough time to properly enjoy it. So. Anyway, I'm excited to try something new. And as we look here on the POV camera, we can see that we've already kind of got that very Viking timber and thatch profile coming together, which is kind of neat. See, look at this. We missed a few pieces. Missed a couple of pieces. 1, 2, 3 up here. 4. The rest of this all looks like extra parts. On to bag 3. So yeah, the video game streams are going to go well. Going to continue apace, as they say. Now we're going to put the roof on this small Viking building. Finally, we have a relatively smaller bag. Switch over to POV. That should do. So yeah, that's what's happening with our. So we said our Sundays. What's happening is 22 weeks left in the year, and we intend to fully use them to really tackle the visible backlog, not the invisible backlog. And then Wednesdays, we got basically one more month of Pocopia-ish, unless I go crazy somehow and manage to finish all my chores in like one session or so on, and then I have a backup game available for just a short while. Still not quite ready to add Thursdays yet. So there is going to come a point where we add Thursdays as a third day. And Thursday is pretty much going to exclusively be Pokemon Day. But what I've been doing, and I've talked about this on stream before, is I've been working my way through a number of old Pokemon games. There's like 6 of them that were in my backlog. I've now got 2 of them down. I finished Pokemon Sun just yesterday. I finished Pokemon Black. And if any of you who are watching have played the original Pokemon Black and White back in 2011, that Cynthia fight is notorious. I think I spent somehow like 5 hours trying to beat that. I mean, she's just so incredibly leveled beyond anything that the game and the experience available in the game prepares you to have. So that was crazy, but I did it. Everything that's there to do in Pokemon Black is completely done. So since those are on the DS, actually somebody asked me this. Who asked me this? Oh yeah, my buddy in Japan asked me the other day, like, you know, like, am I streaming the DS stuff? And I'm like, nah. We got a good setup here. We got the Switch. We got the Lego area. I don't really feel like getting since I'm not going to be like a straight up PokeTuber. Well, maybe, presumably not going to be like a straight up PokeTuber. I don't really feel like quite attaching everything to do DS streaming quite yet, with only 4 games left to go. So the idea is to keep powering through about 1 game a month, using my Thursdays for that, basically off stream. So next up is White 2. That'll be starting that this Thursday, a couple days from now. I'm very excited for that. That's what I'm saying. Faster than her. So depending, it doesn't, you could be talking about either facing her in like Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, or facing her in Black 2. I couldn't do it. So what I actually ended up doing was a Swanna, which had Ice Beam. And so what I would do was Swanna would come out. I would use 1 Ice Beam, 4 times effective. Still wasn't enough to take out her Garchomp, which is like 13, 14, 15, 16 levels higher. Again, just in Black and White, it's insane the level gap that they give you. Swanna goes down. Send out another Pokemon, use it to revive Swanna. Swanna comes back out, and I got a clutch Quick Claw that let me get off that second Ice Beam, finish off Garchomp, and take it home. It was absolutely insane. It actually would have been really great for streaming, minus the fact that I quite possibly would have raged because it was so crazy. Uh-oh. So what I'm guessing needs to happen here. No, that's correct. This is all correct. I got to get this technique down because we're probably going to use it many times. Ah, there's my problem. I'm probably going to use this technique repeatedly as we build the Viking houses. Boom, there we go. You can see this. So yeah, I clutched that. Finished up Pokemon Black, technically 1 day late. But that cleared us up to start White 2 tomorrow. Not tomorrow, on Thursday. So yeah, 4 games left to go and 5 months in the year. Should be enough to clear out that backlog there. White 2, X, Alpha Sapphire, and then finally Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Because I've also finished Sun recently. I don't know why I started with Sun. Probably because going from Ultra Sun to regular Sun to Ultra Sun is like super annoying. It's like going from like a beta game to a finished game. You're like, why didn't they just do this in the first place? This is super annoying. So anyway, four games left in 5 months. The idea is if I do this sufficiently, that December would hypothetically be when we'd be able to start doing Thursday additional streams for Pokemon. And I guess at that point we'd probably move to, I actually haven't done the DLC for, again, got to get this technique correct because we're going to use it over and over again. How do they want us to do this? I have not done the DLC for there it is. What what the heck is that game called? ZA, Legends ZA. I'm just putting it off. There's no real rush. It's not like I'm missing out on much of anything. And we'll put this house on. Put this roof on. Does it just rest there? I don't really see any attachment points. Yeah, that's neat. So it just kind of loosely rests there, which is a nice design. Again, I imagine we're going to be doing that repeatedly as we build more and more Viking houses here. Yeah, so hypothetically, early December, if I haven't gotten off schedule, we'll add a third streaming night that'll basically be dedicated to Pokemon. Which will be great because I think that'll be around the time that the third, well, not quite then, but at some point after the third DLC for Pokopia will come out. We won't need to spend Wednesdays on it. And then, of course, later in 2027, for those of you that are following Pokemon news more heavily, we'll get the next mainline entry. We'll get Winds and Waves, which I'm certainly excited about, and I'm excited to take that on stream live for you guys. Should be a grand time. Got a nice little, what do you call this kind of tree? I think that's a spruce tree, but it's a very tiny, tiny little spruce tree. And what's this one going to be? Another? So yeah, it's going to be, it's been good. It's a lot of gaming, a lot of just, you know, I bought this stuff and I want to enjoy it. You know, I don't want to just be sitting around doing nothing. So, and I get out and do other stuff too. Like I mentioned, going to Pilates, but it's fun. It's fun. You just have a rhythm. Just kind of get into a rhythm for your week. I think it's really nice to have a rhythm, and then you never have to sit around like doom scrolling and wondering, Ferb, what are we going to do today? You just kind of know what the day is about. Maybe that's crazy of me, but hey, it's Sunday and here I am, right? So, okay, this is annoying. So I do that, and then I do this, and then we do it again. Are you serious? This is like a pine, I think, because we got pine needles. Shift that in. I mean, it's kind of neat. It's very detailed, so I'll give it that. And of course, we'll give it a snow cap as well. I'm always paying attention to tree building techniques because I use them in the city. So in terms of clearing out my Lego backlog, it's not just a matter of Sundays. As I often say, I really have to ensure that I'm using the Monday time to order whatever parts are necessary as well. Okay, here we have a printed tile, and it looks like a longship fighting a serpent, which again makes sense since they just re-released that serpent set. It's kind of neat. It's like a, what would you call this? Like a storytelling rune or something like that. It almost makes me think of in The Legend of Zelda, those Sheikah stones. Yeah. In Ocarina of Time. Bag 4. Oh, and we said we were going to take a look. All right, so let's see what Lego Vikings has got. So let's do, is it this one? This one, please. Yeah, so here's my collection. Let's go ahead and look at tag. Where's Viking? Viking should be a tag. Norse, I guess. That was, I guess, PC of them. So there are 44 hits in the LEGO database with the tag Norse, 7 of which are in my collection. So we have the Viking Village, we know that. The Viking ship and Midgard Serpent re-release, which we talked about. This is a beautiful set. They did a really, really great job with this. It was a fun build. I don't think that really counts. I don't think that really counts. Okay, so like I said, I have 2 of this collectible minifigure series Viking, all the way back from Series 4 in 2011. Funny enough, the same time that Pokemon Black and White came out. And then we have a couple of Marvel sets. Not in my collection, and this is always dangerous to do. There are 37 sets. Here's a Viking Fortress. Here's the original Viking ship versus the Midgard Serpent. And we'll notice that this ship, the design on the sails here, pretty much perfectly matches that Viking Sheikah stone. Here's a set from Thor Love and Thunder, the Viking goat boat, where Thor is facing a god. I didn't end up getting that. A double catapult. Another set from Thor Ragnarok, which I did not pick up. Army of Vikings with heavy artillery wagon. Now that's a cool set. I don't know if Vikings actually used heavy artillery or if they actually fought dragons, but armies of Vikings are certainly cool. Let's throw that into the tracker. Another set from Thor Love and Thunder. This is a cheaper way to get the relevant minifigures. I'll throw that on. It's actually still retailing for only $13. I'm actually going to pop this open in another tab, maybe click that up afterwards. Thor. Here's a smaller Viking boat versus a Wyvern dragon. I remember seeing this in stores and being like, come on, let me get this. It was originally retailed for $10, now sells for $45. And then here is Viking Warrior versus the Fenris Wolf. This is the set I was talking about earlier on stream. I actually kind of think that I might have this set somewhere. I'll have to think about that. Superheroes. Viking Woman minifigure from Collectible Minifigures Series 7. Another Viking from Series 20 with a different mask. Another Thor, another Loki. And then on page 2 we get more Thor, Loki, keychains. Oh yeah, the Viking chess set. That's probably very valuable now. And then some various accessories. So the big curious one there is this Attack on New Asgard, which is still retailing relatively low. I might pick that up. And then, as I said, the Wyvern, so on. So, yeah, so LEGO's done some pretty... Like, Vikings is a popular... Where's mine? Also, I need to rename this. This is not... This needs to be called 3 Cameras Aerial. There we go. And we'll go back to POV for you guys. Get started on bag 4. This is fun. See, like I said, like, which sets I select... Oh, that was it. That was the whole section. So we're moving on to an entirely different building now. Which sets I select, it's very vibes-based. I just kind of was looking at everything, and I went, yeah, Vikings seem kind of cool today. I'll mess with Vikings. But yeah, Vikings was, you know, a very popular theme that LEGO hasn't actually returned to, except with the 1-2 one-off sets. And I actually have seen some really great press. People seem to really, in general, be very appreciative. We'll go back to Ariel here, of the way that LEGO is handling old themes now. So instead of, you know, saying, oh, hey, we made Vikings back in 2011, let's do a whole new Viking theme now with 20 sets, they just say, you know, some of these themes were really popular. People really liked Vikings. People really like, what's another great example? Blacktron. I have some Instagram posts about Blacktron from last year, etc. And they do this one-off stuff. So they'll do a combination of LEGO ideas. They'll do a combination of LEGO Bricklink Designer Program, although we didn't see any Bricklink Designer Program sets that related to Vikings. And they'll do a combination of even sometimes things like Creator 3-in-1. This is what they've been doing with Pirates lately, too. Now, Pirates is huge. Pirates is evergreen. You'll never get away from Pirates. But instead of having one pirate theme that is constantly going, this guy's a Viking archer with the mythologically incorrect little Viking horns there, so I appreciated that the set acknowledged that. So instead of doing like one rolling pirate theme that's evergreen, instead they approach pirates through a variety of themes. So pirate 3-in-1 sets, pirate ideas sets that are more expensive, pirate premium sets, pirate collectible minifigures all the time. Now we've got Lego One Piece, Netflix One Piece, so like we're just getting loads and loads of pirate content there. I wonder why he could be bringing that up. How curious. And yeah, I like that tactic. I think that's a very effective way to go about keeping a theme fresh. Pirates are in right now. Pirates are definitely in. And then, of course, you have a few licensed themes. You've got Pirates of the Caribbean. You've got One Piece, which we already mentioned. Making a pier here. Trying to think about what other themes. So the pirates are so popular that they're kind of a weird example. But yeah, no. Lego can be pretty good about using a variety of the methods available through their catalog to keep non-licensed but popular theme ideas alive. I guess Egypt or ancient Egypt is another kind of example. Now, Lego's done a number of non-licensed ancient Egypt themes. They had Adventurers went to Egypt. They had Scorpion Quest. I don't know, this like sort of the second Egypt round, which I'm not actually sure I have hardly any sets from. But again, it's something that they know is always going to sell. So nowadays, instead of hitting that 2 on the head, they just occasionally release something to prop up that theme. It's interesting that we moved to a whole different building section. So this is actually, I think, another example where you could almost have multiple family members sort of working on this at the same time. Now the instructions, the physical instructions wouldn't be conducive to that, since I think this is one big instruction booklet. Let me see, 2,100 parts. So this was about what did this retail for? 120, 130? This retailed for 130. This barely makes the cut where I will keep the box and instructions. And I mean barely. I tend to, like 120 tends to be about the cutoff point for me. So this just barely squeaks by. But also it's a nice black Lego Ideas Adults Welcome box. So those, those are nice. Now, speaking of things to invest in or not invest in, one area where I've actually been very good is we've talked about ignoring the Lego Pokemon Smart Play sets. I was just watching some reviews of those on YouTube, and I appreciate what they're trying to do, but it's so helpful to have the guideline of saying, I buy things at minifigure scale and nothing else. Because it's allowed me to just completely ignore the release of this Lego Pokemon theme. Well, there's 1 or 2 that are actually minifigure scale we'll get to eventually, but we're not in any particular rush. So. I think I just misplaced that. Yes. Yeah, no particularly fascinating building techniques here. It's just nice sculpting. It's just nice. Simple and clean, as we say. Oh, I just missed a step there, didn't I? Yep. They are hopping as we make this landscape. They're hopping around all over. Hopefully I don't make my sniffles any worse doing all this talking here. First of all, it's mostly done. Second of all, frankly, if anything, I think I'll sweat it right back out. It's not too bad. It's actually kind of pleasant. Sometimes it's nice to just be a little bit warm. I mean, I hate being cold, that's for sure. Infamous for that. We can see that this whole additional section is a little bit more elevated. It's a little bit higher up off the ground than the other section, getting deeper into the Vikings' island. I guess it's technically, I think in the original idea of the set, this is probably more of a coastline than an island, but, well, not really. I mean, we've got both ends here, water on both ends, so I guess it is kind of an island, which is an interesting way to... I actually would have expected them to do a coastline the way that they did for the Fortress of El Dorado, so that was an interesting choice to do an island instead. Makes it less expandable. I wonder if we will get a cat guest sighting today. She's been coming to more and more enjoy. She has a tunnel basically back here. There's like a little cat-sized tunnel. It's like owning a hamster. It's funny. She doesn't usually do that too much while I'm in the middle of a build, but just in the middle of the day, I'll see. She'll go in. She always goes in on the right side, comes back here. There's a dead end over there. She comes back this way. Just a little cat disruption. Just saying I'm here. Was an interesting way to do that too. Very sturdy build. I don't think this is going to be falling apart at all. Meanwhile, we're building this little sunken section here, almost like we've got some Ark of the Covenant or something. Fire pit? Fire hearth? Unclear. This looks like it might be some very specific Viking-style hearth or something. Kind of nice, fits in there pretty neatly. And we'll add some decoration, of course, some more cobblestone. This cobblestone technique is starting to get more and more ubiquitous among various genres of Lego build, including my own, since I use it for my medieval section. Medieval section hasn't really gotten much love this calendar year, although I think I have a few pieces in the backlog. A few sets in the backlog that'll go in that direction. I keep looking for that cathedral that I've mentioned a few times. I cannot find it. This is a tiny bag, bag 5. I think I know what's coming next. Two. These look like pillar supports. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like we have a Viking leader's throne here under construction. Another use of the sort of similar sideways alternating snot brick construction that we just saw a lot of in both the Minas Tirith build, but then also in the Monkey Kid Castle build to allow things to kind of go sideways and vertically. It's pretty nice. That's our back wall. Hey, Antilles, welcome aboard. Oh, you missed a lot of exposition at the start of this stream. I was talking about making a plan to get through not the entire backlog, but the backlog that's like sitting around in my common space, something you probably relate to pretty well as well. 22 weeks left in the year, so that makes this day 1 of 22. Kind of tagged them all with little sticky notes. And then I just kind of went by the vibes. I was looking around and I was like, sticky note number 1, it was Lego Zelda the Deku Tree, which there's been some stuff about that set got scalped really, really hard when the Zelda thing was released. So I'm actually sitting on that. It actually technically, I should have been checking this. It technically retired yesterday, or the day before yesterday, the Lego Deco Tree did. But I was really hoping that Lego was going to give a big FU to the scalpers and like release another wave of it, which I guess not. It's funny, I looked at that and I was like, I don't want to open that until I absolutely have to. And then I was looking around and this Viking set was just kind of looking at me funny, and I went, hey, who are you looking at? It's pretty fun. It's straightforward, it's simple, it's an adult build, but there's nothing particularly complicated here. Nor is it particularly long, 2,100 pieces, which should be a little less than 3 hours, but yeah. No, I had fun with Grand Arena. I stayed up and did it last night. I guess I finally decided to, talking about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes on the phone, I guess I finally decided to stop complaining about the change in days and just deal with it. Registered trademark. Bag 6. And honestly, it wasn't that bad. I do think there's going to be a lot of Saturdays where it's not going to be super duper convenient. So that might mean that it'll just mean that some Sundays I'll have to wake up and maybe do it like after Pilates or something. I don't know. But yeah, I had fun. My score was 2,045. I've noticed when people clobber me, their score gets up to like 2,060. I don't even know if I dropped a battle. Maybe I dropped one. I don't know if I dropped a battle even. So it's tough out there. But tonight, when raid finishes for us, I'll have Ahsoka Tano. So that's neat. That'll help. We'll get her onto defense. I have a filler Geonosians up front, which is going to be her spot instead. And then we shift over to Andor. Where's your sword, buddy? Oh, I guess it's longer than it looks. This Viking is executing the technique of pointing your sword directly at or directly away from the viewer so that you can seal just how long it is, which is actually something I practice in my martial arts that I will be working on Thursday. Put this Viking back here with his fellow buddy. Come over onto the camera, you guys. There we go. What about you? Are you making it work? How's it looking? I still third W. Aren't we only on battle 2 of this round? Yeah, because Monday's going to be a battle with the new schedule. Aha, here's those pillars that I said, that I suspected we would be running into. Well, I mean, it just means it's even more important. But that's what I mean, is they change the schedule, and I'm like, ugh. Also, Antilles, don't forget, we'll have Ultimate Journey will be up in less than a week with the new timing. So, changing everything. But yeah, no, now that I'm back stateside, I mentioned I was on vacation. Now that I'm back stateside, I was able to actually give it the attention that it deserved, actually sit down. I actually really enjoy GAC when I can actually sit down and do it in front of the computer. I just hate doing it like in transit or stuff, especially when freshly in Kyber. That was awful. What are we doing here? Antilles, I also talked about, I finished Black yesterday. I think it literally took me 10 hours to get through the round 2 Elite Four and, of course, the surprise Cynthia Undella Town fight. 10 hours for 6 battles. Just the under-leveling or the over-leveling that they... The leveling asymmetry that they give you in OG Black and White, insanity. Absolute insanity. But I'll get to start White 2, which I think was from you, right? I think that's the one from you on Thursday. So I'm excited for that. Yep. Yeah. So that should be a fun time. It'll be the first time I've ever used Snivy as my starter. I've used Snivy before. I love Superior, but I've never actually gone through a game using it as my starter. So, it'll be fun. Well, if I'd made a guess about how we were going to do these walls here, I would have been completely wrong. I thought this was going to be open air based on the design that they gave us, but nope. It's closed up log wall instead. Instead, it looks like we're going to use some paneling, probably some 1x6 or 1x8 plates or tiles to connect the sides here, which is an interesting choice. Again, it's really giving that sort of longhouse look. But yeah, no, set was kind of looking at me funny, so I was like, I'm just going to do this. And I was looking at how much time I had, and I was like, I technically don't have enough time to do this before 5 o'clock, but I think this is what I want to do. So I'm just going to go for it. There we go. Put this, got an axe. Another one of these beautiful Viking shields. And a spear. And 2 of these dots are going onto this strange hearth construction, probably because we're going to build up more. Ah, it's a fire pit. It's a spit for roasting meat of unknown origins. So yeah, everything's going pretty well. Everything's going pretty peachy. That's probably the last, it's the last, like, majorly disruptive travel that I'll be doing this year, so I'm just excited to chill and work on the backlogs. We'll be here live on Wednesday for actually getting to play the Pokopia DLC on the first day it's released. That works out super, super well. That should be popular. Just vibing. Just absolutely vibing. All right, now time for the other side. Let's go over here. You got this. All right, looks like we're introducing a little bit of asymmetry here. If any of you guys are watching over on the YouTube side or rewatching later on the YouTube side like you do, I hope that this series gets kind of interesting to sort of say, I guess what I could do, and you guys over on the YouTube side will have to let me know if this is of interest, but I guess what I could do is, since we've kind of know more or less what the next 22 builds are, I could like lay them all out, and it's almost like a roulette of like what's going to come in a particular day, especially any days that I actually get started at noon or 1, where I can more or less build anything. I'm pretty sure the largest set in the backlog is 4,000 pieces, and that's the that's actually what I kind of had wanted to do. Yeah, I could do a wheel for it, which would be not actually that much effort to set up. Could be fun. Could be fun. But again, in the meantime, I'm just like, it's so vibes based. It also depends on me actually being seated at the right time to get started properly. And then I just kind of look at stuff and I go, nah, you. I'll do you today. Of course. So let's switch the POV view here. Actually, this looks rather nice. So I've been guessing what it was going to be that we'd put in these pillars here, and it is a 4-piece construction that we're going to make 8 times. It's going to look like that. I actually honestly don't know that I think that looks as good as just open paneling would have looked, but maybe there's some historical relevance in terms of why this particular Viking building would be closed. I guess it makes sense that the first building we made would be open air. Slide that into aerial view. Since that's like a blacksmith's forge, I guess you've got a bunch of heat to vent. Beats me. Whereas this one is sort of like the king's... hold on, they told us in the instructions what they called the king, the Jarl. The Jarl's room. I also don't know why we randomly excluded one window over here, but... Bag 7 is a small bag. I keep reaching to the right because that's usually where my rubbish bin is for the plastic instructions and stuff, but I'm just using the box today. I guess I could put the box over there to make it fit my muscle memory. Here's the box, by the way. It's super neat. Yeah, that's better. Got some hanging war banners here. That's a neat little build. What are we doing here? I guess that looks kind of neat on the front there. Brick-built doors here. Pretty neat. Oh. Let's get those nice and flush. There we go. And as expected, bag 8, we get to make the roof with that same thatch technique that we used on the other one, which I actually like. It's nice. We used a different thatch technique on the El Dorado Fortress that was pretty labor-intensive for relatively little. It was overly parts-intensive, which, again, not something I typically expect from an Ideas set. Is El Dorado Ideas? I guess it's a remake. I guess it's an Adult Welcome set. All right, what have we got here? Thatch roof. Let's put this back. Oh, these do actually connect like so. That's kind of cool. Accidentally found the connection point. This is going to be a big roof. Well, Antilles, I guess one of the advantages of GAC no longer being on Sundays is that takes away one of the reasons that I would typically want to be hopping off right at 5. Today we're going to kind of fake it a little bit. We're going to extend it. Actually, Telly, if you're still on, whatever quest with Professor Tangrowth in Pocopia starts after you do the rocket ship stuff. Have you done that yet? Do you know how long that takes? I'm wondering if it's like really short or if it's just one of those cute little like character epilogues, kind of like how we had them for like Chef Dente and Pikichu and the other characters. I'm guessing it's pretty short, but I do want to make sure I catch it as part of the series, especially for the YouTube side. Yeah, so he just popped up to me and he was like, it gave the prompt like time to get chatty. I was like, oh, looks like we're going to do your epilogue now. Ha, now I made you curious. Oh, now it's warm. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you would have just gotten there since you did the rocket not long before I did. Yeah, but I was just kind of walking around, and now in my quest log, I've got "Let's Get Chatty" from Tangrowth. Whew. See, there's like a tipping point. There's a tipping point beyond which, like, if I'm so warm I can't grip the pieces anymore. It slows me the heck down. Whew. I guess that's my sign to take 5. Blast the AC for a second. That's a bit better. It's so humid outside, it's crazy. It's like absolutely pouring. Where were we? Making this little birdhouse business. Telly, the other thing I wonder is if you didn't notice that proc, I don't have every Pokemon yet or every habitat, although I'm fairly close. But what I do have is total environment level 50. So that if it's not there, I would guess that that's probably what it's about. Is that I have everywhere at EV10. I don't know, spitballing. Like I said, I don't even know what it is yet, but we'll find out soon enough. To say, if you don't want it to be spoiled, you might want to just pop over and knock it out. See if you've got it at least. Yeah, I mean, again, you literally, technically, you only need, what did we say? It's like, you can get environment 10 with like 8 Pokemon, although it's a lot easier with about 24. For Sparkling Skylands, I actually really cheated it. All I did was for a couple days I went around and fed every Pokemon a bean. I barely gave anybody anything, which was not very professorly of me. All the other areas, at least, I was like really figuring out what they wanted and trying to meet those needs. But for Skylands, I was like, you guys just need to figure stuff out. And then I got punished for it, and then like I popped it and my environment level immediately dropped again. Oh, this is a 2x build. I hate 2x builds. Or a mirror, no, it's not a mirror build, it's a 2x. Yeah, but again, I think the plan here is we're just gonna, I'm gonna assume that whatever it is only gonna take like anywhere from 5 to less than 20 minutes. So I think I'll just try to knock it out once we finish up here with this build to make sure that we don't have anything in the way of starting the new content on Wednesday. Are you going to get the DLC, by the way? Because I think it's 2 areas. Because I think it's actually a 3-part DLC. So you get the first part now, and then it'll unlock an area on, so it'll unlock an area on Wednesday and then another area in like February or something, if I remember correctly. Could be worth it. But yeah, I need to go ahead and purchase that and make sure it's loaded up before we try to get started. Yeah, should be good. Well, I mean, again, like, hypothetically, I would love to be one of the first folks online to go through that content. Like, we've kind of nailed the formula, which I haven't seen a lot of other folks talking about, like, sort of the methodology I was using for maximizing happiness, but we pretty much got it to a science where, like, we're able to do the entire zone in, like, that 5-hour window. So I think we're going to be one of the earlier pieces. I think Wednesday might be big. That's what I'm saying. I think Wednesday might be big. So we'll see. But I think it's going to be fun. Yeah, you probably won't be the only person who's looking and going, yeah, let me kind of see how this goes, see if I want it. Should be a fun time. really appreciative that there are no stickers in this set. Rather, they've got a couple of printed tiles, and they're making really, really great use of them. Such as this right here. Ooh, that shows up really well. There we go. Okay, now the other side. A whole bag just for this one thatched roof here. Then 5 more. There's 1. Then the repeat. Now what are we doing? Ah, of course. Connect this all up. Where's my camera? There it is. Pretty neat. It's certainly got a lot of texture to it. This needs to go down. Or up. There we go. There we go. Now this is some nice part usage here. These are, I think this is like a minifigure jetpack holder that we're using to do whatever the heck comes next. Not showing as much of the build today, but that's because we've been in this view the whole time. There we go. It's because it's taking up so much of my... Still getting used to that camera bar down there, or the light bar down there that's lighting up my fingers right now. Are we going to do this twice also? Yes, we are. I know there's a nice architecture word for this thing that we just made, this little like roof end cap. It's not a buttress. Something. Then we plop it down. And it just kind of rests there, I'm thinking. Yep. So this technique we last saw in the Sanderson Sisters Cottage from 2023, I want to say. 2022, maybe. But it looks nice. Looks very nice. Very clean. Very easily removable. Put these two guys out defending the shore with their spiky helmets. And then they show us that you can connect these two like that at an angle, which would be absolutely hellish for us if this was on a grid. But as I mentioned, it just so happens that this set is not going on a grid at all and gets to totally escape that issue. Now on to the back, little less than half of the set, but basically the largest of the three land masses that we're working with today. Now, technically, that would actually have been a great stopping point since it is 5, but I don't really have anywhere to be, so I'll probably just do a little bit of multitasking here and keep it moving. Plus, I'm enjoying the build here. I want to finish it, and I want to get to the surprise at the end. Very relatively little harm done. Minus a slightly later dinner, but what can you do? What can you do? It's nice. It's a nice. I find the level of detail in this set to be just about perfect. It's detailed. It's using a bunch of nice building techniques, but it's nothing too extravagant. Nothing exceptionally driving up the part count at all. The cost of the set as a non-licensed theme at $129 or $139 was very, very affordable. And again, part of the reason they're able to do that is because they're not just out here wasting a large number of parts. So overall, all positives. Positives all around. Let's get this where we can... Actually, we'll flip back over to the aerial here while I am building the foundation again for a while. I don't know that I've ever seen a set have sections connect with the exact mechanism here that is being used, these little droid arms and bars. It's different. That's one thing that I'll probably talk about on the Instagram review eventually. It's an interesting choice. I would expect it to be kind of flimsy. So I guess the idea is you can't lift by the center section. You need to separate the sections and then lift them all together. But on the other hand, it's very easy to separate, which is great for transport and storage. So just a trade-off. Most things in life are. Yeah, nice, Antilles. Very nice. We love 6 points. Call that a buzzer beater. Are you playing around with the Ugnaught Cron, though? Only thing to clear solo glass. Oh, wow, you cleared that? Oh, solo. Okay, yeah. I feel like I just used Fennec Lead Old Mando. Yeah, I know. Oh, that's true. But I didn't know. Maybe you saw some videos versus using it yourself. I don't know. It's fun. It's very fun. Yes, Sensei. Antilles, I noticed, kind of on a related note, I noticed that I have all the materials. I have all the required components for Cobb, Relic 10, Cup, Lobot, Zetas and Omicrons, Relic 7 Jawas, Tuscan. But I noticed that Cobb does not seem to be clearing Pirate King Hondo in 3-man, which is super interesting, but also super unfortunate. I mean, there's a few things that can beat Hondo, but still. Vader duels Zen, interesting. Yeah, the tech that you're talking about with Old Man Rex, I think I just fought that for the first time, actually. I think it's possibly the first time onto Bag 10 that I've ever really gone up against... what happened here? Let me configure this real quick. Gone up against Rex without Phoenix team behind him. And, like, I beat it with whatever I was using. I actually beat it with Grand Inquisitor and 7th and 5th, but it was interesting. I just didn't realize that there was so much power behind that Omicron that's not necessarily just related to Phoenix. Oh, this should be fun. I think we're going to have a fair amount of 2 land masses here for this final building. I'm going to multitask here for a bit, but we'll see what I got. Just kind of vibing. Just slow down our rate for a second. That was a win. That was a W. My first Kuiper W. Battle 8 was my first one. We'll see. I'll take it. I mean, again, some of those others would have been if I hadn't been traveling, so I'm gonna have to do all 5 of my Fleet Arena battles here for this, so that's fine. We'll just be multitasking. We're gonna finish everything. You fell out twice once you first got in? Yeah, we'll see. I don't know that a round 8 win and a round 9 win is going to be enough to keep me in. But if I do get edged out, I'll just be back, like, instantly. So, is what it is. I don't know. I'm too lazy to look it up. Point is, my materials, my tools at my disposal continue to get better and better, so... Kyber 4 was, like, perfect because of the crystal amount is 200 flat, which feels, like, perfect to me. so it would have been nice to defend that. It will be nice in the future to defend that. That's not happening. Plug this in. Seven minutes is 5:12. Telly, I think I have a new brain rot from the Spider-Man movie. Whenever anything mildly inconveniences me, I hear Frank Castle going, "This effing guy." Is that what's standing between you and first there, Antilles? What? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So again, this effing guy. Perfectly applicable. It's just so funny for me because in my martial arts, one of the like top instructors is a Secret Service guy who's like literally the same human as Frank Castle Punisher. So like I was getting extra delight out of every single moment that he had a scene. Honestly, I might have to go watch like all the Daredevil stuff just for that. It felt personal. I was like, oh my god. John Bernthal hamming it up. Literally just playing himself. I pretty much only know him from Henry Cavill is also just living his life. That laughing increased my body temperature. We're too warm. Abort. Abort mission. Oh, that's kind of nice. Okay, we've got some side-built steps here. This is a bit of a complexity increase versus where we have been. But I think that's all. I think it's just one step there. Which again is nice because we don't want them to just up the part count here. This is like a perfect set. I mean, I have very positive things to say about this set already. It's also very attractive from what we can see over to the side. But yeah, not overpriced in the slightest. Just a neat little build. Not the start of a theme where you need to collect them all. Pretty easy. Where does this go? Over here. Oh, another side step. Okay, that's nicely incorporated. I think this sort of ochre color detailing here is like supposed to be like Riverside clay, which is a nice little detail. I don't know what Lego calls this color. Copper, dark, reddish orange, something like that. torch. Oh, neat. We've made a little cove here. Antilles, did you listen to the Guild Wars 3 main theme that was released? If you haven't, you should. It's, especially as I'm about to take another fiver here, it's nice. Yeah, I figured we were making a fishing rack here. Sold the remaining pieces, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I know what's coming next. On to bag 11. I will be right back. Okay. Tiny bag here. Okay, so looks like, yeah, 2 connected land masses here. Surprised the cat hasn't come over and been like, what are you doing? Why are you still on? You're off by an hour. She's sleepy. It's so rainy. It's so just rainy and bleak outside. I love it. It's an incredible day for just not being at work, just being at home. Next minifigure up, we've got a Viking lady warrior here. That's a cool hairpiece. It's like it's like dreads, I guess, but it's blonde. Where is your axe head, lady? There it is. Nope, here. Got some solid walls there, so that's either going to be probably the basin of a bridge. I am beginning to get hungry, which makes sense. This is past food time. Whoops. But we push through. Oof. Yeah, this is probably our bridge anchor point here with these clips, these white clips. Or, nope, looks like I got that wrong. Might be a watchtower. Yep, seems like a lookout tower. Got to plant our Viking flag down. Now to connect these two land masses here, which I think is like this. Nope, not quite. There. We actually built up a bit more than I was expecting before we connected there. So I guess this is the dock. Kind of interesting that they released this without any boats at all, but I'm wondering if chronologically this came out at right about the same time as that Creator 3-in-1 Viking longship. That seems plausible. Another printed tile with that dragon insignia. Again, we just saw this in the 2011 Midgard Serpent set. A lot of really, really neat printed pieces here. I actually wonder if, because this was a non-licensed set, these printed pieces might have been freely available on Lego.com, which is very neat. Would have been great for designing Viking custom builds. We obviously did not quite take the opportunity to do that, but don't really have any bright ideas for it either, so no real waste there. Scene. Suddenly a lot of little pieces to build this next building. A pumpkin or a gourd. Is that anachronistic? Are gourds a New World fruit? Vegetable? Probably yes. But I guess the whole point was the Vikings made it to the New World first, so. And the next question is, even if pumpkins are in New World fruits, were there other gourds in the Old World? I genuinely do not know. Oh, come on, don't do this to me. That's an annoying construction. Again, all of a sudden, we're working with tiny pieces. It's interesting. Very minute details all of a sudden. Looks like we're building up to a second room here. Nice closing door there. And we get to place this here. And I was noticing that it had a gap, but it looks like that we are about to fill that in with a front wall, which is kind of, again, a rather interesting choice here. Versus just doing them both as one build. Anything in particular that I'm looking forward to building? There is a sort of age of colonialism British warship that I've started, that I got a few bags into, that is really a really pleasant build. One of the things that I keep thinking about is I have a couple of the Animal Crossing Lego sets, not all of them, just a few, like 3 or 4. And I'm going to turn them into a suburban strip mall, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. Yeah, I mean, there are many sets there that I'm really looking forward to. There's another one that's a gold mine. It's like a Wild Western gold mine, and I'm actually going to split the set in 2. So instead of building up vertically multiple levels like they have it in the instructions, I'm going to basically split it into 2 completely distinct builds, and I've been really looking forward to that. There's a lot of them that I'm looking forward to building. This set was not one that I particularly was like absentmindedly thinking about, but it's like exactly what I want to be doing today, so But I'm very, like, big picture, right? So, like, everything that's over there is chosen because it has, like, a really exciting and specific place in the broader city. But yeah, you say something I'm really particularly looking forward to. The suburban strip mall definitely comes to mind. I'm excited for that. That will probably be a while. I'd been that pagoda tower from Monkey Kid that we built a few Sundays ago. That was something that I had been looking forward to unboxing for a really long time. So that was very pleasant. Bag 14. Yeah, I think those are some of the highlights, some of the things that I'm really thinking about. Now we connect our little suspension bridge. Oh, this is going to be a plank bridge. We're going to have to make these individually, aren't we? Yep. Typical. Yeah, no, it should be good. Like I said, it's mostly just the consistency. I'm really looking forward to... I think it'll probably be around... Well, I don't know. At some point, I'm going to start spending some serious time on Saturdays doing work on the city directly. And I'm really looking forward to being able to start posting some of that, some of the pictures there. Maybe some video. That's going to be... Like, that's the grand goal. That's where I've kind of turned... That will be when I basically turned the corner between fighting a backlog versus... you know, getting to really delight in the fullness of the hobby. Like, it really is, whenever I have people come over, I sometimes talk about how it really is a conveyor belt. It really is an assembly line. This is step 1. Step 2 is ordering the parts. Step 3 is placing parts. Step 4 is taking the build and putting it in the city. It takes a while to get to there. 7, 2, 4, 6, 7. All right. This is going to be interesting. I'm grateful I have a house that allows that conveyor belt to kind of be operational without looking totally devastated. It's a bit devastated, but it's not totally devastated. This is a unique technique for making this suspension bridge here. I really like boats. I really like working on Lego boats, which I think is probably why that that Imperial warship is going to be really fun. But yeah, no, I'm a very delayed gratification person, so it's all really filtered through. It's not just the builds, it's also like the excitement over like understanding where certain things go in the city, which really motivates me. And you probably hear that same language when I talk about Pokopia, or working through a backlog of old Nintendo DS Pokemon games, or when Antilles and I are talking about Guild Wars or Galaxy of Heroes or stuff. Like, I'm definitely motivated by working slowly towards the completion of a project. Although that's not to say that I'm obsessed with, I don't necessarily, I do finish projects. I mean, oh, the Warship I think is like 3,600. It's pretty big. Let's pull that up on Brickset since we're not in any particular rush here. So it's not this one, but if I look at the tags and I go for Galleon, actually it does look an awful, here it is. Privateer Frigate Fortuna is 4,000 pieces, so that's a 5-hour build. And this is, oh, I gotta go to the right. This is what it looks like. So we've got like 20 soldier minifigures here, a siren on the front of it. It's pretty low profile. It's maybe 18 inches long, probably 20 inches tall, something like that. It's nice. I'm excited to pushing that one through. Yeah, that's definitely one that I'm very excited about right now. I had pulled it out because I thought it was something that I could chip away at, you know, like come home from work on like a random Monday or Wednesday or whatever and do like one piece, one bag at a time. But because it's Bricklink Designer Program, the instructions are digital only. So I either have to be here in my setup or like doing it from my phone. So it really does not work very well for bag at a time, which is a pity because otherwise the set is perfect for it. It's contiguous. It's one chip, so I can always pick it up versus like this, which is all these different parts that I'd have to like set. I mean, this one's actually not that bad, but yeah. So no, we'll get to it eventually. Weirdly enough, because I was hoping to chip away at it, it actually does not have numbers assigned. So there will come a point where I get through like 2 of my random numbers in 1 week, and then I'll shift the remaining number over to the frigate. Yep, not one for leaving things half finished, so we'll get to it. Always do. What else is over here that I'm very excited about? Let's see. Another one is this. Adventures in Transylvania. This is a Dracula castle with this beautiful red brick. This is huge. This is another 4,000 pieces. I had thought about getting to that today if I would have started, but again, that's a solid 5 hours right there. It's neat. I might, though, now hold on to this set for a bit because LEGO just released... what is it? So on LEGO Ideas, so a set like this one that we're building here, where it's black box, adults welcome, paper instructions still if you want them, LEGO just got the license to the Universal Monsters franchise, which is the IP that includes Dracula, the Bride of Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and a few others. Pretty much all of our classic horror stories come from the 1920s from Universal Monsters, classic American horror stories. And there will be some version of that set. Now, it's going to take quite a while before it's released. But when things like that happen, when I get these ideas to combine sets... Oh, I should turn my camera back on. When I get these ideas to combine sets, sometimes I'll push something back in the queue, which I think is kind of what's happened with Adventures in Transylvania for me, where I go, I'm going to hold off on building that, possibly for a very long time, until the until Lego finally releases the Universal Monsters set, and I can make a decision about whether to like combine them one way or another. Adventures in Transylvania is going to overall look nicer, but there may be a way to integrate them together. And the minifigures for Universal Monsters should be absolutely banging. Phantom of the Opera is also Universal Monsters. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Lego was one of the original companies. People, it's funny. The phrase in pop culture for this phenomenon is called Fortnite-ification because of the game Fortnite, just snapping up IP after IP after IP. But I would actually argue that Lego, for better or for worse, has been one of the absolute original companies that was engaged in Fortnite-ification, in sort of the merging of every IP everywhere all at once. But I think it makes sense because this is how children play. Children don't do what I do and go, oh, that's DC, that's Marvel, that's Universal Monsters, that's, I don't know, Naruto, that's whatever. Children just go, yeah, I'm going to have Batman fight Naruto and blah, 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 blah. That's just what they do. It's imagination. And I think that Lego, as originally a child's toy, although it moves farther and farther away from that every year, is something that really lends itself very nicely to this. Whereas we see some other franchises slowly engage more. And Fortnite also, which is why the term comes from there. Fortnite is the battle royale. Fortnite is the place to say, well, okay, I want to put Batman and Superman fighting each other. Or Batman and Spider-Man fighting each other. There are other, but it's starting to show up in other toys, hobbies, games. I think one of the big ones that folks complain about, oh, we're on the last bag now, is Magic the Gathering, which was, and that's the difference. Fortnite was not an IP. It's a platform. Lego is not an IP. It's a platform. But now we're starting to see this Fortnite-ification. If Stu Bagel was on, he would have so many. This is a activating topic for him. But we're starting to see so many things that already are an IP, like Magic the Gathering had 25 years of history as its own IP, its own story. Then they started doing this Fortnite-ification. And the cost of doing this is the dilution of your own IP. So if you're a platform like Lego or Fortnite, that cost is not very high. If you're Magic the Gathering, that price may be more than you're willing to pay, or you may be willing to pay because the apparent immediate returns are high, but it's at what cost? And sometimes it takes a long time for your IP to be so diluted that it is no longer recognizable, and that has a downstream financial cost. I don't know, there's probably some great articles about this written by people who can express it more eloquently than me, but the point is, this funny comment that you make is like actually really grounded in the reality of something that's happening in the toy economy, something like that, the entertainment economy, perhaps. I wonder if we are going to make one more thatched roof here. I think they're going to... I have a suspicion they're going to kind of cheat it somehow. Probably these 6x6 tan plates here. So anyway, what I'll probably do with Adventures in Transylvania, having now said all of that, especially because Adventures in Transylvania, that big castle was something that was going to be a non-gridded set, although actually, I think a few streams ago we decided that the forest is now going to be gridded, but it's loosely gridded, so it's not as big a deal as some other things. I don't have to worry as hard about leaving space for it. So, pretending I didn't just say that, since Adventures in Transylvania is a non-gridded set, I can just let it sit. So it'll probably go into the deep storage backlog, and I'll pull something else out. Actually, I guess I could just take the sticker off of it and put it on that frigate, which is how we started the whole conversation here. And then we'll get that frigate built, and no harm really done. Although I guess I need to make space in the deep storage if I'm going to put the Transylvania there and wait it out for 3/4 of a year until we have the Universal Monsters pictures released, and I can determine if they actually can be reasonably combined or something like that. It's a beautiful set, though. It's one of the more beautiful sets. You saw that red color scheme. Red and black and purple. Very gothic. But it won't hurt me going a little while longer without. I don't know what I did, but it finally cooled down a little bit here. I was feeling a bit woozy for a second. I think it's time to finally switch the POV. There we go. Oh yeah, that's nice. Look at that. It's perfect. Here it is. Yep. We knew it was coming. One more roof. Which is fine. These haven't been repetitive or frustrating builds at all. last bit of thatching here. This might actually be straw. These might actually be straw roofs, some of them. There, done. Let's put it together. Snow down. Looks like it's about here. And here. Pop that bad boy on top. Which is not easy. There it goes. Lovely. And then to put them all together, looks a bit like this. Again, oh, now that's beautiful. Let's flip this over to aerial. It really has a very lovely space profile. It's not taking up too much space. It's good. I like it. I like it. Open up these doors so we can see right into the longhouse when you're looking at it on its location. Could use a light in there. So, that would be it. Except that I mentioned at the beginning that there was going to be a little bit more than meets the eye to this stream. And it's funny because we've been sitting here talking about putting sets together, and here we go. So this little 300-piece set, so 300 pieces, we'd expect this to take me about 25 minutes, give or take. This set comes from Lego One Piece. This is called the Windmill Village Hut. This set is set in a flashback from before the start of the series, and you'll notice it comes with a thatch roof timber hut using a lot of the same constructions as the Viking village that we just did. Now, this is a tiny little set. We're not going to be keeping this box, so we'll just get this and its instructions out of the way. Hopefully there are no stickers here. There are stickers here. That's fine. But what we're going to do, and one of the reasons I've actually been excited, I'm always excited when I have the ideas to combine various sets. So this is set number 75636, so let's pull that up. 75636, Windmill Village Hut. Instructions. Retires on the last day of this year, 2026. Page fit. And we get going. This is going to be a hair juniorized, so these instructions are probably going to go pretty quickly. But yes, I always get really excited when I see opportunities where, I mean, this is like as good as it gets. The color schema of these two sets is like 100% overlapping. So you have the dark tan, the light tan, the neutral brown. I don't see very much dark reddish brown. And I do notice the blue that's used is different, but that's going to be hidden. I hadn't pre-decided where this Windmill Village Hut was going to go, but now looking at the set that we just finished, I actually think it's pretty abundantly obvious, perfect little spot for it, which is going to be great. It allows us to add just one more thatch roof hut, one more building, a fourth, well, there's kind of four-ish buildings on our Viking island, so this will be a fifth. So there we go. Things that make me excited. It's the big picture, and this is big picture. So we'll just add another 25 minutes or so here to get this built up. We have a very popular character here, Mr. Shanks. We do have a lot of light tan here, which in the other set we don't have light tan used pretty much anywhere except in the thatch roofs. So we'll probably be hiding this sandbar. Well, again, the base of it is going to be pretty much not visible with where we're choosing to place it. We might have to do some minor modification, but again, since we're not gridded here, I think it's going to be pretty easy, which is very nice. And then here's our dark tan base, which is perfect. I always love when LEGO releases relatively smaller sets that are nonetheless beautiful or cleverly constructed. Got a little crab hiding back here. Love that. Yeah, besides architectural overlap, overlapping color palettes are definitely something I really look for when I'm thinking about recombination of sets. And when it's this high, it's nice. I found some pretty great alignments, especially when you look at my city, which we've never really done much with my city, but like my Midtown district, 2-story downtown buildings, a lot of those come from the LEGO Friends theme, and you have some really diverse offerings in terms of like what kind of businesses there are, but also in terms of the color palettes that are used. And when you find overlapping palettes, it can be really, really beautiful. Kind of a shabby looking boardwalk here. On to bag 2, and we have the Tavern Keeper. I think her name starts with an M. Somebody probably knows this. The beautiful new printed corset, jerkin, something like that. Time to put some stickers on, but luckily we have the brick separator left over from the last set. Not exactly sure that the Vikings had life preservers, but we'll let it slide. A little bit like how with the Sanderson sisters' cottage, it's not really their cottage anymore. It's a museum of what their cottage was at that point. So it's allowed to be slightly anachronistic, which was a really cool way of the movie handling that. That's from, what the hell movie is that from? Oh, it's got a catchy name. Hocus Pocus is what I'm referring to. interesting. Lego geometry strikes again. And our very final bag for the night. Plus, finally, a boat. Our very anachronistic young Luffy. Like we said, Viking Museum. Let's finish this up, shall we? Thatch Roof 2, Electric Boogaloo. And of course, a 2X build. all of the remaining pieces are basically just thatching. This is very detailed. Ah, very flush. And pretty secure as well. Rest that right on there. Boom. It's right. It's exactly the same color scheme as used in the other set. Perfect. Three different stickers to decorate this little surfboard is exorbitant. And we finish it off with a palm tree, which is, that part is a little bit at odds with our Nordic aesthetic for sure. We might have to hide that a bit away. that. We'll do it. So, get these folks out of the way. And put our Viking village back front and center. I think the obvious spot for this last building is in this dead zone right here. Especially since we've got these barrels already leaning up. So we'll do it one part at a time, of course. Start back here, and that works pretty well. Let's knock out these barrels too. This is the fun part. This is when you get to start improvising a bit. That's it. Just about. I should have mirror built this. Almost. There we go. So that's the spot. And honestly, you look at that as a quick glance, you wouldn't even know you were looking at a different set here. Or right there. And then from there, it's basically just setting it right. which is the easiest part of the job. 4, 8. Perfect. So that right there, I'm probably going to call it. And then when I go to order those water pieces, I'll do the rest of this. You can slurp this around right here. And that is a beautiful visage. Let's go one last time to the POV here. Look at that. Totally natural. Good stuff. Well, this was very enjoyable. Lots of fun. I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm coming back in a moment here. We got to get that last exposition quest on Pokopia. So my dinner is receding farther and farther away as I wait, but I believe. So we're going to get this set up, and we'll be back online in Twitch and YouTube here in just a few minutes. Thanks, everybody, for joining for Viking.